One of the most important questions I'm asked by visionary OTs is, how do you know it's time to take the leap? And that could be a leap to start a private practice, a teletherapy business, open a clinic, apply for an OTD, initiate important research, or even scale a business. I've had to figure these things out in my own business a few times. When I started my private practice, when I opted to hire contractors, and when I launched my coaching program for OTs. I've learned a lot from these experiences and from immersing myself in a few entrepreneur communities over the last few years. I'm here to tell you all I know on the topic right now. I'm Carlin, a Canadian mental health OT and founder of the Activate Vitality program for visionary OTs who need support in getting out of their heads and on with trailblazing. When people ask questions like, how do I know it's time to take the leap into something important like starting a business, I'm always looking at where they're coming from first. What's their starting point? What are the obstacles? More often than not, they're in a secure job and fear is the obstacle. They typically know they have something valuable to offer. They know where to gather info about how to start the business, but they're afraid to make the move. And the big mistake that I see over and over again is that they've been waiting for the fear to dissipate and believe that this would be the signal to make the move. So I'm here to say waiting for the fear to go is not a signal that it's time. The fear won't just disappear one day. It won't. The feelings of confidence don't come before taking action. They come after you've taken the steps. Think about any other skill. Do you feel confident about your ability to ride a bike or golf before actually getting on a bike or swinging a club? No. And there's more on that in this video here. So we first need to know that waiting for the fear to be replaced with confidence is not a signal that it's time to take the leap. Now, before I get into the big sign that it is time to take the leap, I'd be remiss in not asking you kindly to like this video and subscribe, clicking on that button right here. You've likely heard the old adage that the discomfort of staying the same needs to grow larger than the discomfort of making the change. And this is what I've seen most often as the turning point for people to make a move. It's been my experience as well. I had intended to wait until my kids were both in school full-time to start my private practice. I was working in a job that I liked well enough out in the community. There had been some changes in the structure of the workflow that would take quite a bit of flexibility away from my life. At a time when I actually needed more flexibility because my kids were small, attending preschool and kindergarten, so I needed to be flexible to move them during the day from one place to another. And this is when I knew that it was time to move my plan up and start that private practice while they were small. It wasn't really the plan, but that discomfort balance needed to shift. I didn't regret it because it allowed me to volunteer in their classes, be off on days when they were off, be home for those sick days, take art and sport classes with them, and be the mom I wanted to be. And in the end, I was grateful that my employer made my work less flexible. Otherwise, I would have waited to start my business and wouldn't have been as available for my kids and as flexible during those years. Over the years, my business grew, and so did my kids, and I found myself working more and more. I was really struggling to limit my work, and it's hard to turn down work when you're self-employed, particularly when you're in a helping field, and there aren't a lot of people out there to help the people that you help. I was tired and frustrated and less available for my kids, which was opposite of the point. So I started to get uncomfortable again. I wasn't the mom I wanted to be anymore. I didn't want to help fewer people though, nor did I want to adjust my family's budget. We really love to travel. So I set out to find a way that I could help more people while still being available for my family and my own well-being. I wanted to be doing more pottery, hiking, spending time with friends, learning, reading, attending conferences, connecting with other people. But this tension point went on for a while because the discomfort of staying the same hadn't yet exceeded the discomfort of changing my model entirely. And something happened in March of 2020. It's not what you think. I learned that something had shifted and I would be losing my main referral base. I was devastated. And the next day, we learned the kids wouldn't be going to school after the weekend because of COVID-19. What was this thing we heard of overseas? 2 weeks later, we learned my husband would be laid off from his airline job for an uncertain period of time. That was scary. That was really scary. The scales of discomfort were disrupted. It was time to leap into action, building an online program. The world was ready for it, and it was the only way forward. Fear be damned. The whole world was scary, so what was a little more? The cool part was that the way to begin building this offer was to get online and help people in any way I could, and that's what the world needed in that time. It's what I needed to be doing as a helper with mental health skills. In the end, I'm grateful for the opportunity that was provided by losing business at a time where the world was ready for what I had to offer. The OT entrepreneur community ramped up as we sought connection and found various ways to pivot as a community. I've heard many stories like this. It may sound overly optimistic, but most businesses I know were born from the silver lining of a devastating blow because something needs to happen to make staying put more uncomfortable than taking the leap. If this has been your experience as well, or you've seen stories like this, I'd love to see your comments below. These silver lining stories are really inspiring for people, especially when they're in a tough spot. So when the comfort scales tip and the discomfort of staying put gets bigger than the discomfort of leaping, we know this is when we make the move. It's human nature to gravitate toward the less distressing option. Now, if you're an OT who doesn't want to wait for a devastating blow to make your current situation uncomfortable enough that you'll take a leap, please reach out to me. I help visionary OTs who are not moving in the direction of executing their great ideas due to their own internal obstacles, and I want to help you rise. Check out this video next, and don't forget to subscribe and comment on this video.